So this plan should look somewhat familiar, and as we're working today, you might find that Revit will not have all of the doors that we need. Later in the semester, I'm going to introduce you guys to some websites where you can go and download extra Revit doors, windows, furniture. But for today, we're just going to kind of try to use what's already there in Revit. And again, we are going to do doors today. We'll move on from windows, and what we're really thinking about today is inserting and editing families as well as how to place them. So coming into Revit, maybe, here is my plan, and I'll come back and forth between Revit and this plan right here. But let's go ahead and get started with our front door. I think that's the most prominent door that I can see. And typically front doors are 36 inches. You want them to be one of your widest doors. And a standard door height is 6 feet 8 inches. So if you were at home, most of your doors will be 6 feet 8. By the time you get into more like custom residential homes, they could be 7 feet or even higher. But if you're going to walk into a Home Depot, Lowe's, even like a Burton Lumber, standard door, 6 feet 8 inches. I'm also going to peek at the front of our house right here. So let's decide right now, do we want to have 7-foot doors or 6 feet 8 doors? What do you guys think?
7 foot.
7 foot? Okay, that's great. Let's make it a little bit more custom. So,
tall ceilings, so
sorry?
got tall ceilings.
Yeah, we've got 10-foot ceilings, so they'll definitely accommodate them. Now, if you guys don't mind, I started over here last week. I'm going to start over here, last class. This class I'm going to start here. Brooke, would you help me get started? If I wanted to put a door in my model, where would I start most simply?
In the ribbon.
Yep, so in the ribbon, we've got our door menu. I click on that. And then right now, Heather, looking at the ribbon, is the door that Revit is selecting by default, is that the door I want? No. Riley, would you tell me another way, or how can I look at other doors right now?
So if you go to the properties menu and then drop down where it says sliding closet, it'll open up your door menu.
Perfect. So yeah, I've got a couple more here. I've got single flush, single raised panel, sliding closet. Single flush would work, but Abby, if I wanted to look at more door types and other options, what would I click on? Good. So right here we've got load family, and if I click on that, Erin, am I in the right menu?
You gotta go to the doors.
Yeah, so if you guys just double click on that door menu, you'll be able to see some. So there are several folders of doors, but by default, there's some in here that we might use. There's the single door that we already have. If we go to residential, you can see some exterior doors and some side lights and things like that. We've even got some overhead doors. Okay. David, looking at the doors, are you all right if we use the single half flat glass wood? I think that one might look like the most modern. Okay.
Or even a full glass one, because all the other,
Yeah, do we have a full glass?
the bifold ones are,
Bifold. Where are you seeing those?
well, I couldn't find any bifold ones, but here's thought I just seen a full glass one. Yeah, here, oh, double full glass wood, that isn't it?
I think this
Doors
one,
here, right at the top, that,
we couldn't use a double door just yet. So let's do the half one for now. We can always replace it later, but I'm going to go ahead and click on open. And then from here, we haven't pulled in doors yet, so I'm going to take a minute and just tell you guys what this menu is. We did this in our crash course, but I want to kind of slow down and show you guys what this menu is. Essentially, when Revit brings in a door now, it wants to know how many door sizes do you want to pull in. So all of these doors take up a little bit of memory and file space, so it's just being a little bit conservative. If you're not going to use all of the doors, you don't need to pull all of them in. And I'm so sorry, remind me your name.
Ashley.
Ashley. Okay, Ashley, what's your last name?
Johnston.
Johnston. Oh, that's right. I totally remember now. I'm so sorry. Okay, yes. So here, do you see the size that we need? And I'm going to help you out with a little bit of math. So if you wanted, we said a 7-foot door. So a 7-foot door would be 84 inches.
Okay, so one of the 84.
Yeah, so do you guys see that there's this 36 by 84? Okay, we can click on that one and then be done. But practice this for me. Let's say you didn't know if you wanted a 36 by 80, a 36 by 84, or a 36 by 96. If you guys just click on them, it's probably not letting you select multiple, right? What you need to do is hold the control key down, and it lets you grab more than one size. Okay, so again, I'm holding the control key and selecting. And then we click on OK. And now if we look at our cursor, do you see that it's ready to put in a door? So with the door, if you guys see like a no sign, I don't know if it was this class or last class, somebody was like, I see a not Blockbuster, super old, Naima. They're like, I see a Ghostbusters sign on my screen. That typically means no, but I love Ghostbusters. So the reason why you're seeing a no is that, remember in Revit, you're BIM modeling. We wouldn't ever find a door in the middle of a room. So it's looking for a wall to host it. The other thing that I'd like you guys to see is before we place it, take a look at the properties. 36 by 80 is the one that's going in. Ashley, do you know how I can change that part?
Then you just click on it?
Yep. Click on it and you'll see that under this one, there's 36 by 84. And then when we go to place it, if we hit the space bar, it flips it to the left or right hinge. And this is really subtle, but with your mouse, take a look at my wall. If I have it on the bottom half, it faces inside, or on the top half, do you see how it flips it back out? So it's really subtle, but you just have to move it slightly and it moves it for you.
So you change that just with your mouse?
So just a subtle up and down movement. And then the space bar changes the swing. So go ahead and click to place it and then hit escape a couple times because it's thinking that you still want to add doors. And I'm going to go back and look at this picture. So right here, I'm going to say that we only have 4 inches between the wall and the door. Okay? So if you have a certain dimension that you know you want to distance something, which placement method do you think would be best? RP would work. What might be easier though if we know like right off the bat that it's a distance? Yeah, probably just dimension. We could put a dimension down. But RP, we would use that with move as well. So we would use those two together. But let's do both of them. With our model, let me show you some troubleshooting while we're here. Let's say you placed your door and you placed it in like this. Did you see that when I clicked on my door, there's these double-sided arrows? That lets you reverse the hinge and the swing. And if you're patient enough, when you have your door selected, hit spacebar for me. And Taylor, will you tell me what happens when you have your door selected and you hit spacebar?
It flips.
Yep, it just keeps going from the different swings and hinges. So either one works. Okay. I said we would try both methods. So get ready to undo. We're going to place the door and then we're going to undo it and move it to the other side. So to start, will you guys pretend, let me do it really quick, but the door is actually supposed to be like this and we're going to put it 6 inches away. And with this one, we're going to use the reference plane method. Okay, so just get your door situated like this and then we'll do the reference plane. I'm not hearing as many clicks. I think we're good. So now go ahead and sketch out a reference plane, RP. You click to start it and then click to end it and then hit escape a couple times. And really we're going to place it anywhere because in just a minute we're going to set a dimension on where it's supposed to go. So after you put in your reference plane, DI, and I'm going to measure from my wall to the reference plane. And then after I get that measurement, my last click is to place it.
Doesn't it face the other way?
It does. We're pretending, so we're going to do it two ways. We're going to erase and undo. We'll move it to the other side. Did everybody catch David's question? So I know that I'm doing it flipped and backwards. We're going to use the reference plane method, and then we're going to flip it and do it the dimension method. Okay, so let me come back to Revit. What should this dimension be right now? Riley.
6 inches?
Yeah, perfect. So Riley, let me ask you an even more, well actually, that's cheating. Let me go to Maddie. I already asked you a question. Maddie, how do I change the dimension of my reference plane?
Click on it.
Good. So click on the reference plane. I think the big thing to remember is that click on what you want to move. A lot of us still are in the habit of clicking on the dimension to change it, but again, click on what you want to move. If you click on the dimension, it highlights, but it doesn't activate, okay? One thing that I like to, this is what I always like to think. When I click on the actual object, you can see that this number gets smaller. And again, I always imagine that the number's hiding, like, oh, don't change me. Okay, so once you see it kind of try to hide from you, we're giants, it can't hide from us. 0 space 6, enter, and there's our reference plane. Okay. Now to move the door where we want it to go, Brooke, I want to go ahead and use the align command. Do you remember the shortcut for it?
Me, Ashley, sorry.
I did it again, because there's 2 Ashleys and two Rileys. Are there 2 Brooks?
We have a lot of repeats.
I'm so sorry. Why do I think your name is Ashley? This is so bad. Okay, I'm going to stare at you and just think Brooke, Brooke, Brooke. Okay.
The quickie, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
RP?
So sorry. We are doing align. It's the first 2 letters.
Sorry, align, just AL.
Yep, so AL, good. Now with AL, Julianne, do you remember what we want to touch first? So we have to click on 2 things with align. Do you remember the first thing that we click on?
The object that we want to move?
Opposite.
The other
Yep, so first we're going to say, we're going to go and click on where we want to move it to, and then we're going to go click the object that we're moving. Okay, so AL. So in this case, where we want to move it is the reference plane. And then the second part is the door. So I'm going to grab this outside portion of it, and it should just line up. And I'll do that one more time. I'm going to hit escape. AL, reference plane, and then the object that you're moving. Did that work for everybody? Anybody need me to do that again? No? Okay. So now what we're going to do is, let's say that we propose this to our client and they're like, oh, we don't want to walk into a wall. Let's flip the hinge, come in this way, but let's only do 3 inches from the wall to the door. Okay, and this happens a lot. When you're working in Revit, again, you will be doing lots of editing rather than drawing. Now I am looking at a couple screens, and I just wanted to show you guys again. If it gets hard for you guys to see all the different thicknesses on your screen, TL to toggle back and forth. Some people actually see their screen easier with the thickness. My eyes have a hard time seeing it, so TL toggles back and forth. All right, Catherine, I'm going to come to you. So, Catherine, we want to flip the door, move it to the other side. You tell me where you want to start. And in this case, I'd like to use the dimension method. So, you tell me where you want to start with it.
We're just moving the door?
Yep, we're moving it and also flipping the hinge.
I would just click on it and use the arrows.
Okay, So click, and then if you use the arrows, you can just click on this arrow here and it flips it to the other side. So that's the first part, flipping the hinge. Now I'm gonna come, did we already go back around? Okay, Brooke, I got your name right. Oh wait, is it not Brooke? Is it Ashley?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, is there a Brooke in this class? Dang it! Okay, I'm so bad. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so close. Okay, I was actually calling on her. I was coming back to the beginning. Okay, Brooke, I'm going to come to you just because I'm embarrassed. So, from this one right here, I don't even know what we're doing. Okay, we want to move the door now. So Catherine just told us how we could flip it. If we didn't want to use these arrows, what's another key we could hit? Good. So spacebar also allows you to do that. You have to hit it a few times before you get it right. So I think the arrows are a good way to go. And now Heather, I'm coming back to you. So we're doing the dimension method. How would you?
Where I missed.
Okay.
I missed that one.
You can just say pass. You can even say hard pass. Okay, reference plane you're comfortable with? Okay. What about you, Riley? Can you start us off?
Okay. Well, to do dimension, you hit DM.
Good. Well, is it DM too? I do DI. I think, so DM is mirror. I know it sounds really weird. So
No,
DI.
You're right.
Yep,
yeah.
DI,
Sorry.
good. So we've got
So I
dimension.
really don't know.
And then, Abby, what are we dimensioning? So I've got my DI ready. Where should I click on my screen right now?
You can click from wall to door.
Okay. Do you guys want to know another random fun fact? So Thursdays are my Friday, so I come in a little goofy. Do you guys know that horrible, okay, not horrible, it's subjectively horrible song, From the Window to the Wall? Every time I dimension, every single time. From the wall to the door. Sorry. And I'm recording this. Woohoo! Okay, you guys can come back and listen 17 minutes in. Okay, so I've got a dimension down. Good. Now, Erin, if we're using the dimension method, and actually even Heather, if you want to jump in, you may. I'm going to let both of you guys think about it. If I want to move the door, what should I click on?
The door.
The door. Heather, did you see that? Okay, so I click on the door. David, how do I know that it's working? What happened graphically on my screen?
The door highlights.
Yep, the door highlights, and Ash, I'm going to call you Ash. What else happened to the dimension?
I got small.
It got small. It's trying to hide from me. Taylor, do you remember how big or how far away I said to put it?
3 inches.
3 inches. So I'm going to do 0 space 3. Remember, I didn't hit backspace. I didn't do anything else. And then I hit enter. And now our door is 3 inches away from the wall. Okay. Good. So that's our door. The only thing that we didn't do for this one was the move command. Sorry, what was that?
That one's easier.
I think so. Yeah, I think that one I also think is a little bit easier. Sometimes you'll use reference planes later, but it is a lot of people, because you don't have like AutoCAD lines to sketch with, and a lot of people are used to that, I like to introduce reference planes because I saw a lot of students actually sketching on their plans with detail lines that we haven't gotten into yet. But if you ever need just a reference line that doesn't print, RP is where you want to go. Right?
So they're basically construction lines. You're looking at the end of them.
So I wouldn't even call them construction lines, because in CAD, construction lines print and they are double-ended. Like, are you talking about the XL command in CAD?
Yeah, you can make them so they don't print if you.
Yeah, but that's getting into layers. So I don't want you to think of them as construction lines. Just think of them, are you familiar with the def points layer?
You know, in SolidWorks you got reference, you can do all kinds of planes too, but you're looking at the end of it here, so it's just a line.
Yeah, so
In 3D, it would probably be an actual plane, you could do stuff.
it would still be a line, but you could see it in different views. Yeah, so in 3D you'd see it, but it wouldn't be a plane, it would still be a line.
Oh, so, okay, still a line.
Yep, still a line. But if you were thinking about it in terms of layers in CAD, it's a permanent def points layer. It'll never print. Okay. So we've got our first door, well done. And now I'm going to hop back into our plan. Let's put in a couple more doors and also learn how to load in a few more families. So for this door right here, I'm going to do an interior flush because that's what we have. And we're gonna make this door 32 inches by the 7 feet, by the 84 inches, okay? So let's go into Revit and first see if we have that. So Riley, would you mind helping me start off? So again, I'm gonna go to my door menu, right? And I'm gonna pull down, I'm gonna go to my single flush. Do I have that door size? 32 by 84?
Yeah, it's the third one down.
Oh, dang it, I do have one. I was hoping we didn't. Okay, I'm gonna change the other one. Yes, we do. Okay, good. And then I wasn't paying attention to how it was put in. Okay, let's keep this 4 inches away. Okay, let's do a 4-inch hinge. So right now, Ashley, I actually mean to call on you. Hello, nice to meet you. What can I do right now to fix the swing of my, or the hinge of my door?
Just press space.
Good. I'm going to hit space bar. Now it looks right. I click to place it. And right now you can't see it on my screen, but hopefully see it on yours. I have a no sign because I'm still in the door command. So if I come over here, Revit still thinks I'm inserting doors, and there very well could be a time where you're going to come in and place a whole bunch of doors. I'm done for now, so I'm going to hit escape once and then escape one more time. And now my cursor is back to that arrow. All right, Maddie, do you feel comfortable walking me through the next part of the dimension portion? Or at least to get it started?
Do you do RP next?
Let's do dimension.
Okay.
Okay?
DI.
Yeah, so DI. And then remember Naima singing the little lullaby to you? From the wall to the door. Okay? And then, Julianne, what's the next thing I need to do?
Click down.
Good. Just click to place it, right? And then I have to hit escape twice to clear it out. And then, Catherine, how do I move my door? What do I click on?
You want to click on the door,
Good.
and then type where you click on the dimension letters in the right.
Good. Yep. 0 space 6. David, are you angry at Revit? Do you need help with something? Maybe? Let me see. It looks good to me. Maybe? You good?
What was that again? I'm sorry.
Oh, do you need help with anything?
I think the dimension isn't going in.
It isn't? Okay, so let's do it one more time. So I'm watching you. Hit escape. Okay, and now hit DI.
Yeah.
Yep. And now click on your wall. You know, I wonder, let me see how you're put, hit escape one more time. I don't think that's the dimension command. So hit escape. So DI. Good. Now click on your wall. And then click on your door.
Now it's coming in.
Yep.
What was I clicking before?
I have no idea, but it wasn't DI. And now hit escape a couple times. I didn't recognize the icon, and that's how I knew it wasn't dimension.
Okay.
And now click on your door for me. And then you can see that the dimension on the bottom got smaller, that 5 3/4.
Oh, so.
Yep, so click on that dimension and change it to 0 space 6. Enter. There you go. Okay, and then if you want to practice, I would say erase it and do it one more time, just to make sure it clicked in there. All right, so we've got everybody place that door okay? Yeah? Let's insert one other, I think we're gonna do 2 more door types. Let me look at the plan. I'm gonna let you guys do these on your own. Go ahead and see if you can center a sliding door in the hallway. You'll probably have to load that one, the pocket door, if we have it. And then the other door that we're looking for, in the door menu, you'll actually see an opening, door opening. Grab a 36-inch door opening to put in here. And again, depending on how big you made your hallway, that might be too big. It shouldn't be too small, but see if those two fit. So,
Mine 36 inches.
sorry?
Should have been wider than 36 inches.
It should be like exactly 36, but if you made it a little bit bigger, that's okay.
The hallway.
Yeah, if you made it a little bit smaller, then the opening won't fit, so you can adjust it. Okay, so again, go see if you can load a pocket door and place it, and go find the door opening. See if you can place it, And then if you need help, raise your hand, I'll come around, but in just a couple of minutes I will walk through it pretty quickly with you.
What size did you say the door?
Again, I'm starting at door and just double checking I don't have a pocket door or an opening. So I go back into load family, and in residential I'm going to start with the opening. I have to come out one menu and it says door opening right there. So go ahead and click on open. And door opening by default only has one size, and luckily enough it's the size that we need. It's the 36 by 84. And I'm just going to try and center that between the walls. Revit helps me do that. And because it's an opening, it just puts in the dashed line to indicate essentially the archway above. So even though it's a square archway, it's just letting people know that there's a header above my door. And then I'm going to do the same thing, except this time I'm going to see if there's a pocket door. Now, guys, cheat with me. Did you find a pocket?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Cool. And then this one, I think I said 30, let's do 32 by 84. I'm going to center that one as well. The pocket, come on Revit, there's all these things you can do and you can't figure out where the pocket goes. I'm going to flip it so it's not sticking onto the bedroom. And I actually think that, I didn't realize I had this much room. I'm going to make this bigger. So I'm going to edit the type. And I don't have more here, so let me do this. I'm going to give you guys a couple more minutes to put in your pocket door. And then we are going to edit this door type to be a wider door without having to load it in. I'm going to pause one more time. So now, that's nice, right? So with the pocket door, I think, let's see, I started over here, Aaron, David. I don't think, let's see, Aaron, did I end with you last time, David? I was over here, I think. Maybe? Okay, so David, I'm going to start with you. We have a door that we've put in, and it isn't the right size. Can you tell me how to start making it the correct size, how we can edit it? Good. Yep. And Ash, hopefully, I don't know if you were here for this, but let's see if you might know. Before I make any changes, there's something I need to do first. Do you know what that is?
Did you learn it last class?
Probably. It's
I
okay.
haven't seen that.
All right, that's okay. Right, then I'm going to skip ahead to you. Yep, we always want to duplicate. And the reason why we want to duplicate it is that we don't want to change all of the other doors that are 32 by 84, because it's not just this project that pulls from that folder, it's all of your projects. So change all of the doors in this project and the other project. So that's why it's important to duplicate. Let's make it 36 by 84. Let's just make it a big door. We have the room in the hallway. So when you're bringing in your giant cushy West Elm poofs and whatever else, they'll fit through your door. So Taylor, I'm changing the name. Is that all I need to do?
No, you have to change the dimensions.
Yeah, so I'm going to go down to the width. And then, how did you put it in? Just 3 enter?
32, or the inches.
Okay, so you did 36.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you probably 0 space 36. Yep, it still gets it for you. Okay. And then from here I can just click on OK, and it should automatically change that door size. Now let's nudge it a little bit so that the end of the door doesn't go to the exterior. Now Ashley or Maddie, I'm going to open this one up to either one of you. If I wanted to perfectly line up the back of this door with my exterior wall, do you know what command I could use?
AL.
Good. I was trying not to use that word. So if you do AL, and then you want to align it with your wall, so you click on that first. Now, I don't think we've run into this before. So right now, do you see how it's not clicking on my wall or selecting my wall? There's two things we can do. The first thing is that, do you see how our preference is set to wall center line? Let's change that to wall faces. But do you see how it's still going to the center line? It's because Revit is a little slow. Hit tab for me, and it should start going back and forth between the center and the wall. Okay. So again, tab lets you cycle through your selection choices. So I'm going to grab that wall and then align this to the wall as well. Does anybody want to see that one more time?
What's the dimensioning you have on that hallway versus the little laundry closet?
Ooh, that got really small, huh? I have no laundry now. That's not going to work, a 2-foot laundry in a giant hallway. Naima. Okay, well, let's make some edits here so we're all on the same page. That's kind of crazy. I think.
Is that what, did you go over that in the class?
No, we were just putting walls in,
Okay.
and then I kind of turned it over to you guys to put in the rest of your dimensions.
Okay, 'cause I watched the end of the video and I was like, wait a second.
No, you guys, we kind of turned it loose, but
So I wondered if you said it in class.
So let's change a couple things here so we're all on the same page.
So would a 3-foot wall hallway be all right, or would you want it wider than that?
Oh, we're going to make it a little bit wider. Yep, so we're going to go through and change all of these dimensions. Maddie?
How do you make your wall like not thick again?
TL. Yep. Thin line, thick line. Right, so I'm going to start off with this wall right here. And right now it's 9 feet 6. I'm going to change that to 8 feet. Okay, and now our bathroom's 8 feet as well. Excuse me. And then after I change this line, and I'm going to come back to the alignment in just a moment. I'm going to come back to that, but first we're going to fix our walls. And then after you do that wall, let's see if we can make this a 40-inch closet. So 0 space 40. Yep. It's a little bit mad about where our door is, but that's okay. We're going to fix that. So 8, 4'2", and 3'4". I'll put one other dimension down if that helps you.
So bathroom's 8 feet now?
Yep. We can make those executive decisions.
What's the distance of your full bath?
My full bath, like from
Yeah,
here
I
to here?
have all of my dimensions the same. Like I have the 3'4" laundry room,
Uh-huh.
4'2" hallway, and it changed my other dimensions to 8'4".
8'4". Okay, so what you can do, grab this back wall and then move it to 8 feet. So from out to out, about 17.5 and a half.
How thick are your interior walls?
Let's check. 4 and a half.
You can also check that by just clicking the wall, right?
Yep.
And checking the properties.
Mm-hmm.
How
Absolutely.
are yours 4.5? Oh, I must have it in wrong.
All right, I'm gonna keep going.
I'm trying to move that wall, and it moves the wrong wall.
Oh.
So I'm clicking on the one first.
Okay, which one are you trying to move? So look at my screen. A,
On the bathroom door.
B, C. Okay, so this one right here. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so click on the wall for me. And then when you click on it, do you have a dimension that highlights that's going from here to here? So I had to put in that dimension first.
I have one, yeah, I have one, but that might not be the controlling dimension.
Okay, so if that dimension isn't connected to the wall, I would grab the dimension and delete it.
Okay, and redo it.
Yeah, so sometimes when you put in dimensions, I don't know what else I can click on, like right now, do you see how I'm clicking on the door and not the wall? So you may have measured something else. So even though it's close to the wall, if you didn't use the wall as a reference, it won't move it.
I thought my bedroom and the bathroom both set up at 8 feet, but when I go in and measure the kitchen,
Yeah?
I get 8.5.
Really?
Half inch coming from.
I would, okay, go into the kitchen.
That's right, according to.
Yeah.
But
It's still 8.5. Okay, so I would grab your dimension and delete it just in case. Okay, and right now we don't really have like a wall in our kitchen, right?
Well, 8 feet half inch, is that what it said?
Okay, so delete that one. Is it still 8 feet in your bathroom?
Yeah, my bathroom and the bedroom both say 8 feet.
Okay, but let's, if you take a dimension from out here to here, are you saying it's 8.5?
8 feet and half inch.
Okay, try it. So delete it and then dimension it again. And we might have to use your align command to fix a couple things. I'll show you how you can fix it.
Okay.
Is it still the 8.5 inch? Okay, so if it's still the 8.5, do me a favor. So you're gonna have to click and then hit escape and then click and hit escape again. When you click on your kitchen wall, does this wall to the left highlight or are they separate? All of it's one? Okay. So now grab this wall for me. Okay. Does it still say 8 feet?
In the bathroom?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. I don't know. Okay. So now I'm going to center that opening and then we'll use the align command to try and see if we can align to it. So to center the opening, it's going to be a little strange, but we're going to use that equal command again. So take a look at my screen. I'm going to use distance to measure from the wall to the center of the opening and then back to the other wall. And then after I place it, so as soon as I click, the EQ comes up. It's crossed out because it's not equal, but when I click on that, it'll go ahead and center it. So I'll do that one more time. And you can follow along with me. So DI from your wall, and you'll have to kind of click or hover around to find the center of your door, and then finally the other side of your wall. Everybody find that okay? And then after you click to place it, you'll see the EQ. Click on that for me to center it. Okay, we are going to use the align command to match the center of this door to the center of that door. And in fact, before I show you, I want you guys to try it. So AL, center of the opening to the center of the pocket door. Give it a try. If it doesn't work, again, I'm going to walk you through it in just a couple seconds.
So we're escaping and going back.
Yep. So yep, you're going to escape and then do AL this time.
So if we did it right, the center should stay at EQ, right?
Uh-huh.
The opening?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and walk you through it. So AL I find the center of where I want to move, which is the opening, and then I have to come and find the center of the pocket door. And it should move it. I'm going to do that one more time. AL, there's my first center, and then here's my second center. When you guys were going through it, tell me what happened. Did it work the first time? If it didn't work, tell me why it didn't work. Anybody? Riley, I saw you nodding. It worked for you?
It worked for me. The first time, I almost clicked the middle of the pocket door and then the middle of the opening.
Got it.
And I realized, oh, that's going to move the opening, not the pocket door.
Good. So you remember to click on where you want to move it to first. Good. Anyone else? You guys got it okay? Right? So remember, these things can be used on doors, windows, walls, several things. We're just using it right now for the door alignment. Now from here, I am going to give you guys a couple more door sizes. So I think you guys do have a bifold door, and there's not bifolds. So what we can do, we could probably do a sliding door instead. I bet there's a sliding door. And like I said, later on in the semester, there will be some place where we can go and download all of this stuff. Let me take a peek with you to see if there is one there.
That'd be the exterior doors.
Sorry?
The exterior doors.
You want to use an exterior door? Is there an exterior bifold? Where do you see that one?
On both sides of the prayer room. Aren't those doors?
Oh, yes, they are. So that's called a nano wall. So there's argument on whether it's a door or a wall, but you can download Revit components that are nano walls. They're like the big sliding pocket doors. And even with those, you could probably just use double sliders too. So coming over here, yeah, I doubt it would be here.
I
Yeah.
googled it and found one on the Revit website, but it said I have to have Revit 2020 to use it.
We have Revit 2020. That's
Yeah,
silly.
It said I have Revit 2009.
What? No, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Weird. No, we'll download stuff later. We'll just stick with what we have. So I would say with any of the doors that are left, if you just want to do these double flush, or even there was another one in residential, I think. Interior. Yep, there's also an interior double pocket. Any one of those would work. And for the exterior doors, I'm going to go into the commercial to see if there is something that looks good. Why don't you guys use, oh, I don't know if it'll let us use this. Let me try. It might get mad at me.
Could you put 2 slider doors?
You could.
I played with it last night, not so I put in there, but it's not aligned right.
No, that's all right. Let me see if I can sneak these in here. It's not very happy with me. Will you guys see, just test this for me. It can't find, I am trying to load the curtain. So in the doors menu, the main menu, there's these 2 curtain doors right here. The double glass and the double storefront. Will you see if Revit will allow you to load and place those? It won't even let me load mine. Is it saying that it can't load the family?
Yeah.
Okay, so we might have lost that on our network somewhere. Then I would say just do the double glass or the double sliding. Let's see if it'll be nice and load those. Okay, good, yep. So double glass or double sliders. Let me show you one more time.
That's under commercial.
Nope, it's just in the main menu. So double glass or double sliding. You can use those for the exterior. Okay, I'm going to rein you guys back in, and we're going to go backwards a little bit. We're going to go back and talk about our sheets for just a minute and our viewports. Now that we're starting to add more annotation, so annotation is any type of text or notes that you put on a plan. So that includes dimensions, room names, notes. I can't think of anything else right now, window and door tags. All of that falls under the umbrella of annotation. And now that we're adding more annotation, what I want to do is point out that when you are working on your model plan, do you guys see that there's a little scale right here in the bottom left-hand corner? So if I click on that scale, right now it's set to 3/8. And the reason why it's set to 3/8 is that I made that sheet in here, the AI 101, and that sheet is set to 3/8. So it's giving me a preview of what my text will look like on a 3/8 sheet. Does that make sense? That's really hard to say. If I come back to that view, so let me go back to my main level plan, I see a lot of students, they're like, I can't read my dimensions. I want to make them bigger. Okay, that was too big. Okay, we'll do something like that. So they change their scale to 1/8 inch so they can read their dimensions a little bit better. Well, what ends up happening if we go back to our sheet now, do you see that it changed it on the sheet size as well? So those two scales are talking to each other. So on your sheet, it'll be placed in at 1/8 inch, and then on the plan that you're working with, it's just barely out of my view, main level, it's giving you a preview of what the text looks like, so the annotation scale. For those of you guys who took AutoCAD, I know it's not everybody in here, but do you remember what a pain annotative scale was and trying to get it to work? I don't understand why CAD's having such a hard time, because Revit does it perfectly and you don't have to think about it. So it's kind of frustrating. But your plans should be at least 1/4 inch. We're not working on anything too big here. You can go up to 3/8 of an inch, but even 1/2 inch is getting into like large scale views that we're going to reserve for like interior elevations and things like that. So 1/4 or 3/8 is fine for your plans and also your exterior elevations. Those should match. David?
So where did you go to look at the dimension scale?
Right down here at the bottom.
Yeah, I see that. And you changed it somewhere else?
Yeah, so I just clicked on that number right there.
Oh, you changed it from there?
Yeah.
That reverses the scale for your sheet.
Yep, that does. So whatever you change here, it'll change the scale of your sheet. So those two are working together.
So instead of making the text bigger, it's just making the
Yep.
scale smaller?
It is, so your text will always read.
So can you adjust the text?
You
If
can.
you turn these out on any size, you can barely even read them.
You can, but we're going to go, so that's later on in the semester when we go over annotation. I don't think we'll be there for about a month or a month and a half, but we will. All right. Does that concept seem pretty clear to you guys, where we're going with it? Okay. So what I wanted to hop into next, that was the only blurb I had on annotation scale. Just wanted to remind you that they talk to each other. Now I'm going to go into how to add window and door tags. So with Revit, again, the thing that's really nice about it is that it does a lot of things quickly without us really having to think about it. And on our plans, if we will in this semester eventually do something called schedules, where it goes through and lists all of the windows and the doors on our plan, as well as the sizes. So if I wanted to start tagging my doors, there's two ways of doing that. So everybody, we're going to go into a new menu. It's called Annotate. Click on it for me. And let's start off, yeah.
So do you usually work on your dimensions and annotations in your view instead of the sheet view?
Yes.
You don't mess around with the sheet?
I don't. Nope, everything's done in model space here. Yep. So here, let's go to our front door. And what we're looking for are these two buttons right here. Tag by category, or TG is the shortcut, or tag all. Okay, so TG is if you just want to do one. So let's start with that shortcut. Let's type in TG. And without changing anything, come hover on your door. And do you see how that's changing it to door number 1? Okay. The one thing that I do want you guys to change is that by default, do you see how it puts like a little tail on it? That tail is referred to as a leader. Do you see how over here we can deselect leader? David, did that work for you?
So my annotate doesn't show all that stuff.
I'm going to hit escape. So under annotate, you want to click on tag by category, or the shortcut is TG.
Oh, tag, okay.
Okay? And then once you click that, the only thing I did was turn off leader. Maddie?
I'm showing number 6, is that right?
No, it's okay. All of ours will be a little bit different depending on how you put in your doors. So I think this was the first door I put in. If you had other doors, it might be number 6. So I'm just going to place the number 1 here. And then now that you've seen how to do 1, whatever you click on until you hit escape, it's going to be tagging those doors. But I'm going to hit escape. I'm only going to do 1.
So where do you turn off the leader at?
Let me go back to TG. Up here in the upper left, do you see where it says leader?
So what is the leader?
I'm going to show you one more time. Let me get this out of the way.
See where it's at. I'm just gonna write it down.
Does it label them based on what you placed in?
Yes, so one sec. And we're going to change all the labels eventually. But Heather, let me go back to yours. So a leader allows you to move something out of the way. So we by default want them in the center of the door. But if there's a dimension there or like a really fancy tile pattern, a leader allows us to move it out of the way and still let us see that it's attached. And then Riley, with our doors, I always name my doors based on the room labels. So we're just leaving generic numbers in there for now. And then once we create room numbers, which is not next week but the week after, then we're going to go through and relabel all of our doors and things like that. Okay? So let me do this. The other way that I wanted to show you guys how to do this is if you know that you're ready to tag all your doors in your project, you can go to tag all. So click on that too. Hopefully you have at least 2 doors left. And do you see how it has a whole bunch of objects that you can select from? I just want to do door tags. Up in the annotate menu, right next to tag by category, it says tag all. There's no shortcut for it. So tag all, and again, we only want door tags, and make sure your leader is off. So it's interesting, if you do tag all, it leaves the leader off, but by default on just the individual one, it has it on. If you want to see what it looks like, you can click apply, and do you see how they all pop up for me? Or if you just hit OK, you can come back out and see all of your doors are tagged. Okay. So part of your assignment next week will be to not only add the windows and doors, but to add the tags as well. Now I'm going to do a window tag, so same thing, TG. And this is what I always find out. So I am embarrassed to say, do you see that my window tag is coming on the inside of my building? Or the inside of my house? That means that my window is backwards. I never know where the ledge is depending on the manufacturer. Like here in our room, the ledge is given on the outside. But here, it's flipped. The ledge is interior. So I'm going to flip my windows because you want your window tag to be on the exterior face, not the interior. Windows go on the outside. And those are the only 2 windows I have, so that was really easy.
So if it's like, I have like 3 windows that are all labeling as one number. Is that just because I used the same window?
Yep, that's what mine is doing too, so that's normal. Yep, it's the same window type. And eventually, we will change these to be letters, not numbers. So it'll be window type A, and there'll be lots of A's, and then
No
window
matter
type
what
B.
number
No, right now the only thing we're doing is placing them. Yep. So we'll build on this later on in the semester. What I do want you guys to pay attention to is how you're placing them. Okay, so make sure that they're professional and legible. So that means no leader unless you need it. And then your window tags, should they go on the interior of the building or the exterior?
So you drag it around a little bit if you need to.
Yep. Yeah, you can move them. So sorry, interior, exterior for the windows. Exterior. And yeah, David, you can grab
Those arrows are for
any
it.
tag and move them around. Now, if you move them too far, I think you can right click. Oh, you can't here. You can do it on dimensions. Your dimensions do the same thing. So let's say I can't read this 6 inches right here. If you drag your dimension, you can move it out of the way. But then if you move it too far, you should be able to right click on it and reset dimension text position.
It tends to want to move the door if I try and drag it.
So make sure you're clicking on the tag and not the door.
So
But
if you place your tags, can you still change the windows and doors and
Mhm.
the tags stay there?
Yeah.
Okay.
The tag will change there, but here's the thing that's cool. So this door, I can change the properties of it, and it's still the same door number, right? But my windows, the window number will change based on the type. So new type, new number. The doors are really just being numbered. It doesn't have to do with type. Okay. David, were you able to grab your tag?
if I try and highlight the tag, it's right in the door and it highlights the door too.
So what you might have to do, remember how we were hitting tab before?
What if you, okay, yeah.
Hit tab to toggle through. So if you look at my screen right now, there's like this perfect spot where you can select the door or the tag. If you fall into that trap, hit tab to toggle through. Did the tab not work?
What if you put on the leader and just delete the leader and then you drag the thing around?
Let's do it together. So
Okay.
you've got your door tag there, right?
Yeah.
Don't click, just hover for me. Okay. And now hit tab. And then, yeah, I think I saw it highlighted blue. As soon as you see it blue, you can click on it.
Okay.
Got it? There you go. Okay. So things that I will be looking for our next class. Again, I want you to add all of the doors and windows to the exercise, tag them, place them on the sheets, and then do that exact same thing with your modern 2-bedroom. Okay, everything's on Canvas, that's just where we're going. And the other thing that I would also like to do, kind of just as an extra credit thing, so part of your assignment today will be to actually lay out your elevation sheets. So I do want to see your elevations this week. And one thing that I've also asked for is a 3D view. And your standard 3D view isn't super exciting. I mean, it's fine. We'll just take it for what it is. But when you are in any view, I'm going to go back to my main level. You can add 3D cameras that I think look a lot better than your standard 3D view. So let's try that together. And you guys will see that in your assignment, not your exercise, but in your assignment, there's extra credit if you guys add a camera and just place a camera view. Okay? So let's go. I think the easiest place to find it, do you see this tiny little house here up at the top? There's a downward facing arrow. So click on that for me. And do you see where it says camera? Okay, I'm going to show you how to place it. The first click is where you would stand if you were taking a picture. So I want to stand here. I can't see it because it's out of my extents, but Revit knows what I mean. So I'm going to click here. And then the second click, this is where my camera is facing. So do you see that I've got like these weird lines projecting out? You want to go past your building, so your building is within view. Now it's on an X-ray camera. I mean, it can be if you turn on wireframe, but even though you go past the inside, it'll just show everything. And then as soon as you click, it'll take you to that view.
So you just say, you don't have to have it contained within those two lines?
No, you don't have to have it in the extents. And in fact, on your main level, if you go back, if you want to turn off your crop view for this under your extents, you can, so you can see where you're putting your camera. So again, in my properties, I went back to the extents that we set last class and I turned off crop view. So I'll do it one more time. Now if I go to camera, I'm going to do it from this side. Do you see where okay. Can you see that there's at least a camera? Okay, good. There is a camera, and then I drag. That's the view. And that's what we're looking at. And even in that view, you can use that same shift orbit to kind of change the view if you want to. The other way that you can get to the camera is if you go to View, and then there's a camera here too. So either one. I usually just like that shortcut right on the top, but either one works. Let me pull up the assignment just to make sure there isn't anything that I missed, or if you guys have any questions, you guys can ask me now.
So does it work better to put the camera a little farther away?
I think so, yeah. It just depends on the look that you're going for.
So to do the camera, you have to have the crop off.
Not necessarily. The only thing that might be confusing is that you won't see the camera, but Revit knows where you want to put it. So that's why I turned it off so you guys could actually physically see the camera on my recording if you want to refer back to it later. But it'll work either way. Okay, so coming back over here, we've got the 2.1 modern bedroom window and doors. That's your homework, and we've got the exercise. So I'm going to open up both. I'll start with the exercise just because that's where we are. So here, I am looking for windows included on plan, professionally placed and labeled. So the labels include the tags. That's what I'm looking for there. Doors included on plan, interior and exterior, professionally placed and labeled. And again, by professionally, I just mean that if you are doing a window, where do the window tags go? Exterior, interior? Exterior, good. And then I want your Revit model, and I also want a PDF set. So do you guys see that I'm looking for the 201 sheet now? Those are your exterior elevations. I have it listed up here. And I think that this house is small enough that you can put all 4 views on one sheet easily. Okay, and you, again, play with your extent windows. That has to do with the professional. So if you have a house that's this big, but your viewport is that big, it's teetering on being unprofessional. So try and get it, make good use of your real estate. Okay, and then this is always a big thing for me. Obviously, this is worth 10 points. Your PDF sheets are turned in to scale and your sheets are combined. So I don't want to have to click through, 7 different sheets in a few weeks when you get more and more sheets. I want one PDF set that I can just kind of scroll through and mark up.
Now, when you say to scale, you mean picking like the quarter or the 3?
And the other thing that's important too is if you set it to be a 1/4 inch scale on a 24 by 36, if you take it and scale it down on an 8.5 by 11, it's not to scale anymore. So that's kind of like a 2-part thing. So the first part is setting the scale in Revit, and then the second part is making sure that your sheet size that you print on matches the title block that you have. And that's what we practiced last class. Okay. Maddie? Sorry. I'll answer it in one. Well, actually, Maddie, I'm going to come back to you. So exterior elevations, I think you would know how to do it. Let me hop back in here. So let me ask you this. Do you know how to print your floor plan?
Yeah.
Okay. So your exterior elevation is the same thing. It already has an elevation sheet set up, but there's nothing on it. right? So we've got this A6 and A7. So the first thing that you would do, change the name because we're using National CAD standard. And then Brooke, the second part of that is there's nothing on here. How do we get something? Good, drag and drop. Yep. Maddie, what was your question?
And that was kind of it, but the elevations, what ones do you want to see the camera view ones?
That'll go on, so for the exercise, you don't need to do that part, but I'll show you the assignment and you can see where to put that one. Okay. Any other questions on the
So we want
exercise?
3D views, basically.
Not on this one. You can, just for fun.
You just want one, no turn down.
Yeah, but so let me hop into the assignment. I think we're done with this. In the assignment, do you guys see that I included I-109, 3D camera view for extra credit? That's where you'd put that one. Now, right now, you guys don't know where the 3D view went, right? Like you made a camera? Try to find it without me telling you.
Mine popped up here.
It popped up there, but how do you get that onto a sheet? So look for just a minute, and then I'll help you.
It's over in the project browser.
Yeah, so similar to all of our other views, if you look in your project browser, under 3D views now, I have 3D view 1 and 3D view 2.
You just rename that if you want.
Yeah, I think it would be too hard because you're going to make a lot. So I would rename these. This is, I'm going to say, exterior master. And so that would make this one, I think, exterior front. Nope, I did it backwards. Exterior. So this would be exterior front.
You can put the camera on one side too.
Yeah, you can do interior views as well. It's really, I think that the cameras are one of the funnest parts of Revit.
Yeah.
And typically we do have a program loaded in here called Enscape. We can do 3D renderings, but 3D renderings look even better when we use a plugin called Enscape. One of the last things that we do in the semester is to encourage you guys to take the second Revit class, or if you don't take the second Revit class, this is like, you guys are my captive audience, I'm going to show you what it can do. We do a 3D walkthrough, and if you added any materials, you can see what they look like, but you can preview them here in the lab. Okay, so any questions about what's due, how it's due? Okay, so all of your sheets for the assignment are listed here, and then again, windows and door tags.
Yeah, I didn't get to deal with that laundry room door. Is that?
So for the assignments and the exercise, get all of them in before you turn it in.
For that, or
A slider. So I think I saw a couple people.
just sliding going one way or the other?
Yeah, I think Riley, you tried putting in a pocket door. Pocket door wasn't working so well. Try a slider. But again, we probably won't do it for this assignment, but we will get to a point in the semester where you guys will be downloading custom stuff. And in fact, we have a little bit of time. Let me show you where you can go look. I'm not going to get into it that much, to be honest, right now. So these are here for you. Do you see that under discussions, I have Revit Family and BIM Object links? Okay. The first one should be BIM Object. And essentially, Autodesk, or the people who own Revit, had their own site that nobody used. Everybody went to BIM Object. And so a few years ago, they bought BIM Object. So they own it now, which is great. But if you come under here, it's all of these are hit and miss. That's why we have so many. And then some of them turned into paid sites, and then some of them were like crazy Ukrainian fronts that like shut down overnight. So every semester it changes. But let me put in, what was it called? Bifold door. Nano walls. Okay, definitely don't want that in the laundry room, but you know, some people have the money to do it. But if these are, you know, pretty commercial, but maybe even something like this could work, you know. Let me show you one other site, and then after I show you where to find it, I'm going to show you how to pull it into your model. So this is just bonus content. This isn't required. This is just, if I don't know how to put it, if you guys are going to do it on your own, I may as well show you how to do it right, but not required. Revit City is also really popular, but very shabby. in its interface and design. Obviously their servers aren't doing very well today. I'm gonna wait for them.
So is BIM being pretty much adopted through industry?
I
Lots
think
of
so.
buyers
Yeah.
hold of that now?
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's a huge investment, so not everybody can afford it, but those who can definitely do.
You know, it's hard to get a lot of information from a lot of
It
suppliers and
is.
stuff, so.
It's a lot. So this one, again, not very intuitive, user-friendly. Do you see this tiny little search? I'm going to click on search, look for bifold. So this is probably maybe closer to what we're looking for. And to join, they really don't send you any spam. I have had this account for years. I just use my Google login. Oh man, please remember me. It knows me at home. I don't know if I remember my password, guys. Please, please first try. Please first try. That would be amazing. Dang it. Okay, I'm gonna go back. Either way, whether it's BIM Object or Revit City, after you download something, you have to open it in Revit, and there's one button you have to remember. So let me get something from here. I'm going to go back to bifold. I'm going to grab one of these fancy doors. Okay. And there's a million of them. Let me just grab you. Not again. At least this one will use my Google account. That was mean, it didn't continue the download. Here we go. Okay, so do you see on my screen I have something called an RFA now? So that stands for a Revit family. So when you download stuff, it could be a Revit file or an RFA. It doesn't matter. What you want to do is open it in Revit. This was made in 2015, so I'm going to upgrade the model. Okay, this is the button you need to know. Do you see where it says load into project and close? Right here. This is the only thing that you need to actually pull it into your project. So I'm going to click on load into project and close. And Revit, oh, this was nice. Usually it doesn't do this. It doesn't let me put it into the 3D view that I was in. This manufacturer probably wrote some code to kick me out into a floor plan, and now I can place it, and I've got the bifold door. So let's see what this looks like in 3D. Okay, that's what that one looks like right there. Again, not required, but if you wanted to see what's out there, you can go ahead and look for either your assignment. Yeah, you can. Mm-hmm. Yep, so what David was asking, can you make your own libraries? You wouldn't make your own, but when I just downloaded the door, it went to my downloads. You would just copy and paste that into your Revit library where all of your other doors are. And that part we'll get into later. I won't get into that today, but if you do some file explorer searching, you'll find it.
So can you draw stuff and put into Revit?
Uh-huh, we're gonna get into extrusions. Yep. All right, that's it for this week. I'm gonna let you guys do your thing, but I'm gonna stop the lecture. Both assignments are posted. Just make sure you have them turned in before class on Tuesday.